And what I'm going to talk about today is kind of an extension to the last video I did about chicks, how to raise them. Now I'm getting ready to train them to lay their eggs in the right place. So I'm going to tell you my process and hope that helps. Actually, every morning I come out to my garden and I just pick the excess produce because there's only 3 of us living here and I don't need all of it. I've given a lot to my 2 daughters, but typically right now what I'm getting for my chickens are lots of tomatoes. So I'm going to pick some of those for them. We eat them and we give them the excess. And I put lettuce in earlier in the year and I thought it was done, but it's kind of popping back up again. So if I don't eat it, I'll just throw it out to them. So this is one of the reasons I love having a garden. They'll eat my corn over here. I put corn in 3 different places at 3 different times, and the 3rd batch did not come all the way up as well. So I'll just give it to the chickens. It's not a big deal. All right, we're ready to go. Here is what I'm going to bring to my chicks today. I know I've talked about foraging before to make your eggs really healthy and that dark golden yolk. But again, I'm going to show you where my chicks are and why I'm feeding them instead today. This is, in here I have butternut squash from last night, some popcorn and tomatoes, and my husband brought home a watermelon from the Amish yesterday. We are not going to eat the whole thing, so we always give them a good half of it. So my husband, we ate into this last night, and this is what's left on the 1/2. So they're going to have a treat today. On the way to the coop, my older hens, I have 8 left. We got attacked by raccoons last year, so I was able to save 8 out of 17. Here they are. So these hens have gone rogue. They all sleep in the barn with the rooster, which is fine. They know where to lay their eggs. It's been pretty safe. If we have more raccoons come along or some danger, I'll force them into the coop and then leave them locked up until I know it's safe. But let me throw some stuff out to them because they want some too. There you go. And they forage all day. I give them a little bit of scratch. Other than that, they go find their own worms and grass and things like that. I always give the chicks and the hens some scratch. You can see on top of this pile, there's some mealworms. Because my chicks are not quite foraging yet, I'll show you how they're learning. I still give them some mealworms for protein. And I store all the scratch and the pellets in these trash cans. I wanted to show you that because years ago, my husband and I were thinking, how are we going to store this? And well, there are bins that you can store your feed in, but they're very expensive. And my husband said, just go get some trash cans. So we have 5 actually, and I keep different things in there for the feed and stuff. Okay, I bring in the scratch. This is where the chicks are. They're back there waiting on me, and they're going to come around in a moment. I'll show you how I let them out. This is where I'm trying to train them to lay eggs. I don't know what happened here. There's an egg. Oh, that's kind of cool. You can see you can see their eggs are really small. I'm going to show you in the house. I'll compare it for you. All right, so I close this up. They've got their feed in a tray. And then I feed the other hens over here on the ground just once a day so that they come in here because this is where they have to go to lay their eggs. All the nests are back there where you see that little curtain, and this kind of encourages my older hens to come back. There's also a way through here that the hens can go over there, but they haven't figured it out. Only about 2 of them have. And so that's one way I'm trying to integrate my hens, but they won't go through there's a hole in the fence that they can get through, but they haven't come through yet. And the only reason I've done that is so that they can come over here and meet the older hens. And the older hens will kind of teach them how to lay eggs and where to lay them. I've also let the older hens, if I can get them to go in over with the chicks, I'll let them in and then they can start teaching. Here's one of the new hens or little chicks, and she was left out last night. I did not know that. And she's trying to get in. There is a little hole under the fence there where she can get in there and eat with them. If I walk over there, she'll run away. But they just have to figure out where the little holes are in the fence. There's 3 different places. And the reason they're small is so my goats don't get in. When the goats have babies, those babies can get through anything. So that's what we're in right now, is the learning process. Is like, where do I go to get my food? Where can I go to get out of the gated area and forage and come back into safety? Where can I lay my eggs? This is where we're going to go in. I've got my food and my water ready to go, and I'm going to have to turn this off and get in there. But this is where it's all gated. You can see It's a pretty big area, but if you can see the dirt from here, all the grass is gone. There's nothing left for them to eat. So I either bring it in or I let them out of the area. The food is ready. I've got it all just on the ground. There's some watermelon, butternut squash, tomatoes, and popcorn. I always put a fresh pail of water. I've mentioned this before, but I do not use 5-gallon buckets. I do not use those fancy chicken waterers. I just use these little, I think they're 1.5 gallons possibly, and you get 5 of them pretty cheap. Don't spend a lot of money on all that cute stuff. It's like when you have a new baby, you're like, oh my gosh, I need all these things. You don't. All right, and here you see, these are just some kind of weeds that are up that they're not eating, and the ground has no grass. Now, let's go ahead and let them, this is my favorite part of the morning, letting them out in the morning. They still go in at night just because it'll keep them safe. And we have a little walkway here that we put down. All right, here they are. They're getting big. They're 5 months old, so they're starting to lay. This is exciting. Now, when I did the last video, there were 27 chicks. I'm down to 13. Maybe I had 26. I'm down to 13. I sold 10 hens. I always buy 25 and then I sell as many as I can and keep at least 5. I kept 10 this year, or 13 I think I ended up with this, which is fine because I only have 8. Anyway, and then I ended up with 3 roosters and they are gone. I have not had luck having more than 1 rooster. They tend to fight. I'm going to get out of the way. There they go. They're so excited in the morning when they come running out. All right, and they always go over here. They're probably going over to the hole that I have in the fence, but today it's going to stay boarded up because they're starting to lay. And my goal now is to get them to lay in the proper spot, and then I'm going to let them get out again and come back. And they've been doing pretty well. The whole last week, a lot of them have been going out through that hole, and then the evening I just shoo them into the corner. Here they are, they're eating their, oh, they love this. In the morning, I shoo them back to the hole outside. I just go, shh, and they go. Everybody has their way, right? My husband's like, I'm going to put you on video. I said, no, don't do that. All right, so there you go. I'm going to go down and show you the hole that I have in the fence. And this is, like I said, I'm training for this. I'm training them to go out. See all the lush grass out there? That's where they need to be. And down here, I'll move this board out of the way. And then there's just a little hole down there and they can get right through it. And they have been going through. And like I said, they come back. So this is where they're going. The grass is greener on the other side. I've got a whole fenced in big area and they've gone out there. They've got shelter over there if they want to get out of the sun. That was our first goat shelter before we built the barn. And they can go out and eat all they want, get some worms and bugs, and then come back through at night and go back into the safety of their coop. But my problem, the last 2 days, I didn't get any eggs from them. And I'm like, where are they laying them? So today, we're going to stay home probably 3 or 4 days, just till I start getting eggs and I see that they know where to lay them. So that's it. That's the next stage. Once I train them, and I know that they're laying their eggs in the right spot. There's 2 nesting boxes. I did buy those from Tractor Supply. Once they start laying the eggs in the nesting boxes and they know to come back, then I'll start letting them go back through there again. So it might be 3 or 4 days. But again, I make sure I later I'll bring some grass that I pull. They'll have some fresh stuff and then they have their scratch and everything inside. So there you have it. Anybody have any other tips? Feel free to share. Because not everybody doesn't do everything the same way. I always say having chickens or anything you do is just like life. You have to figure it out. Figure it out what works best for you.